Right, tariffs. It's a word that sounds incredibly boring, like a dusty textbook page. But trust me, this is important. A tariff is basically a tax on stuff coming into the country. Think of it like a bouncer at a nightclub called America charging foreign products a cover fee. The idea sold to the public was simple. President Trump, back in the White House, argued these taxes would make foreign goods more expensive. That, they said, would encourage everyone to buy American, protect U.S. industries from unfair competition, bring back millions of jobs. New tariffs rolled out in late 2024 and escalated through 2025, billed as a masterstroke, meant to punish countries with trade surpluses, force them to play by our rules, make other nations pay for our revival. The logic? Slap 25% on a German car, and an American-made car looks like a bargain. Result? Bustling factories, happy auto workers, a return to 1950s manufacturing nostalgia. Sounds wonderful, right? Unfortunately, that's not how this works. The crucial misunderstanding: who actually pays the tariff? When the US taxes Chinese-made electronics, China doesn't wire the money to the US Treasury. The importer, usually an American company, pays. They pass that cost down the line. It gets baked into the price. The person who pays is you, the American consumer. Every time you buy a new phone, a microwave, or a simple pair of sneakers, it's a self-inflicted economic wound. The grand plan was to build a protective wall of taxes around the American economy. Let's talk about the consequences. They arrived faster than a tweet storm at dawn. One of the first and most alarming effects has been on the US dollar. For decades, the dollar was the world's heavyweight champion, but these new tariffs have acted like economic kryptonite. The US dollar index fell steeply in the first half of 2025. Global investors hate uncertainty. They're moving money to more predictable markets. That movement is weakening the dollar. A weaker dollar might sound good for exports, but it's a double-edged sword, and it's cutting us. While a weaker dollar can make goods cheaper abroad, our trading partners aren't in a buying mood. They're retaliating with their own tariffs on American products. Our farmers can't sell their soybeans. Our manufacturers can't sell their machinery. The supposed export boom is a bust. Instead, everything we import becomes more expensive. Coffee, car parts, medicine. And what about the jobs? May and June revisions were grim: May to 19,000, June to 14,000, and July barely 73,000. Manufacturing has shed over 150,000 jobs since the start of the year. Companies that rely on imported materials and components are getting hammered. That forced them to lay off workers, not hire them. Tariffs have generated an estimated $100 billion in government revenue, but studies show they've cost the economy far more in lost growth and jobs. Modern supply chains are complex. A product labeled "Made in America" is often assembled from parts that crisscross the globe. The most baffling part is we have seen this movie before, and it always ends badly. Back in the 1980s, quotas and tariffs on sugar forced big changes. American sugar prices stayed artificially high for decades. Who pays? Every American who buys a soda, a candy bar, a box of cereal. In 2002, steel tariffs cost the economy many jobs. Studies pointed to roughly 200,000 jobs lost in other sectors. Car manufacturers and construction firms faced higher costs and layoffs. Those tariffs were lifted less than 2 years later after rulings and damage assessments. And the 2018 trade war showed similar effects: price increases, slower exports, and bailout costs for farmers. This time is different. It's monumentally bigger. Earlier tariffs were surgical and targeted. The 2025 tariffs are a carpet-bombing campaign. They apply not only to China but to the EU, Japan, South Korea, Canada, Mexico, even close allies. It's estimated over 60% of all goods imported into the US are now subject to new tariffs, up from under 10% before 2018. This is a fundamental rewriting of America's role in the global economy, affecting cars, electronics, clothing, food, medical supplies, industrial machinery. No one is left untouched. Small breweries paying more for bottling equipment, startups facing higher semiconductor costs, construction budgets exploding. Uncertainty chills investment and hiring. Companies can't plan if they don't know what component costs will be next quarter. The result is a chaotic and unpredictable business environment. This isn't a scalpel, it's a sledgehammer swung in a room full of glass. The scale is staggering. It makes previous disputes look like minor squabbles. This time we're efficiently shooting ourselves in the foot. So what happens next? Let's look at the long-term damage. If the American economy had a check engine light, it would be flashing bright red right now. Every economist in the country is the mechanic frantically screaming, "Stop driving the car!" Their concerns go beyond sticker shock. The real danger is entrenched inflation. The consumer price index has jumped by about 5.2% year over year, a rate not seen in over a decade. Higher prices lead to wage demands, businesses raise prices, and the Fed keeps rates high to fight inflation, slowing mortgages, loans, and growth. Tariffs reduce competition, force expensive domestic sourcing, and make U.S. companies less competitive and less innovative. Sometimes that means lower quality or pricier parts, stalled R&D, and abandoned prototypes. By abandoning trade norms and acting unilaterally, we risk isolation. Other nations form trade blocs that exclude us. Who wins? A small, politically connected group, owners and shareholders in protected industries. Who loses? Pretty much everyone else. Average families, importers, exporters, farmers, auto workers. Ironically, the policy also accelerates our rivals. China and others are strengthening trade ties and de-dollarization efforts. The long-term risk, a multipolar world where the U.S. is less central to global trade, slower growth, fewer jobs, reduced influence, the economic pie shrinks. The tariffs were sold as a magic potion. Instead, they've been an economic poison, a massive tax hike on families and businesses, a job destruction program, an accelerator for the decline of American influence. The policy was supposed to make America win, but in a trade war this broad, the only real losers are ourselves. As the dust settles, households squeezed, industries unsettled, and America's global standing on uncertain ground. Thanks for watching Pulse News. Subscribe for more global economy reports.